Have you ever wondered why the price of your favorite loaf of bread or carton of milk keeps rising? In today's world, it seems a shared experience is the steady climb of prices for the most basic of goods. From the bustling markets of Tokyo to the quaint corner shops of London and the sprawling supermarkets across the United States, the cost of everyday essentials is on a seemingly unstoppable upward trajectory. A significant part of this global trend can be attributed to the increasing prices of groceries, the very backbone of our daily sustenance. The impact of this rise is far-reaching, touching every consumer regardless of their location, status, or income. It's a pinch felt in every pocket, a strain on every household budget. Undoubtedly, the role of major grocery retailers is crucial in this scenario. These giants of the retail world, the likes of Walmart, Kroger, and Albertsons, wield substantial influence over the cost of food and beverages. Yet, in an intriguing turn of events, these retail behemoths are reporting gross profit margins in the region of 20%. Such figures mirror those of pre-pandemic times, despite the economic upheaval and inflationary pressures that have characterized the recent past. The question then arises, with such healthy profit margins, why are consumers continually facing higher prices at the checkout? Why is the cost of a simple loaf of bread or a carton of milk, items that are staples in most households, continually on the rise? The answer, it appears, lies in a complex web of economic factors, corporate decisions, and policy approaches. The situation has not gone unnoticed. As the cost of living continues to rise and the burden on consumers grows heavier, the attention of the powers that be has been piqued. This global trend has drawn the attention of the Biden administration, leading to some intriguing developments. The Biden administration is now zeroing in on grocery chains, a move that underlines the importance of reducing prices on essential goods ranging from milk to eggs and bread. In a world where every penny counts, the Biden administration is taking a firm stand to ensure that companies are held accountable for their pricing practices. The spotlight is on grocery chains, with the administration stressing the need to decrease the prices of everyday essentials. Leading the way is Jared Bernstein, chair of Biden's Council of Economic Advisors. In a recent virtual press briefing, Bernstein delivered a clear and unequivocal message. He stated, "If your company's input costs have decreased and you're not reflecting those savings for consumers, expect accountability." His words serve as a stern warning to companies that might be inclined to pocket these savings instead of passing them on to the consumer. Bernstein further highlighted the issue of heightened profit margins, particularly within the grocery sector. He emphasized that there is a need for greater pass-through to consumers. While he refrained from singling out specific companies, major grocery retailers such as Walmart, Kroger, and Albertsons are reportedly enjoying gross profit margins exceeding 20%. This is a level that's consistent with pre-pandemic figures despite the current inflationary environment. The Biden administration's focus on grocery chains is a reflection of a broader commitment to consumer protection. It's a stance that President Biden has consistently reinforced throughout his tenure. The aim is to ensure that as costs decrease, these savings are reflected in the prices consumers pay at the checkout. It's about fairness and it's about accountability. So what does this mean for you, the consumer? It means that the Biden administration is fighting to ensure that your grocery bills are fair. It means that they're advocating for you, challenging companies to do the right thing and pass savings onto their customers. This unequivocal message from the Biden administration signals a commitment to consumer protection. It's a commitment to ensure that your hard-earned money goes further, especially when it comes to purchasing the essentials. But what is the actual picture within these grocery chains? As we delve deeper into this issue, we find ourselves standing before an intriguing set of numbers. Major grocery retailers, including the likes of Walmart, Kroger, and Albertsons, are reporting gross profit margins that exceed 20%. Now, one might wonder, is this a recent trend spurred on by the pandemic? Surprisingly, the answer is no. These figures are consistent with those that prevailed before the world was gripped by the pandemic. What these numbers reveal is a striking reality. Despite the surge in inflation, the tumultuous shifts in the market, and the economic instability that many sectors have faced, the grocery sector has managed to maintain a level of profit that can be traced back to a time when the word pandemic was merely a term in a biology textbook. This scenario, while intriguing, raises significant questions. If input costs have decreased, as indicated by the Biden administration, why are we not seeing a similar decline in prices on the consumer end? Why are consumers still paying high prices for essential goods like milk, eggs, and bread? To answer these questions, we must look beyond the surface, beyond the profit margins. We must examine the underlying economic dynamics that govern these chains. We must explore the complex interplay of market forces, corporate strategies, and government policies. Yet, despite the complexity of these dynamics, one thing remains clear. The current state of affairs underscores a significant disconnect between input costs and consumer prices. It highlights the need for greater transparency, accountability, and, most importantly, a commitment to pass on the benefits of reduced costs to consumers. These figures indicate a clear disconnect between input costs and consumer prices. As we move forward, it is crucial that we continue to question, to probe, and to demand accountability. For it is only through such scrutiny that we can hope to bridge this disconnect and ensure a fair deal for all consumers. Opening, the White House has also conducted an analysis of this situation. As we delve deeper into the economic labyrinth, let's examine the findings of the White House's analysis of census data. The study reveals that food and beverage retailers are experiencing an intriguing phenomenon. Their revenues, when compared to their costs, have seen a significant upswing, reaching levels that have not been witnessed since the mid-2000s. Now, why is this significant, you might ask? Well, this metric serves as a direct indicator of retail markups. It's like a compass in the wilderness of economic trends, pointing us towards the direction of the wind. And in this case, it's clear that the wind is blowing towards higher profits for grocery retailers. But what does this mean for the average consumer? When we look at the economic landscape through the lens of this data, it becomes clear that the surge in revenues for these retailers is not necessarily translating into savings for consumers. In fact, despite lower input costs, prices of essential goods like milk, eggs, and bread remain high. This discrepancy between input costs and retail prices, according to the White House analysis, is a clear sign of economic shifts in the aftermath of the pandemic. It seems the pandemic has not only altered our day-to-day lives, but also reshaped the contours of our economic landscape. The grocery sector in particular has emerged as an arena where these shifts are most evident. Major grocery retailers such as Walmart, Kroger, and Albertsons are reporting gross profit margins exceeding 20%. This is a level consistent with pre-pandemic figures despite the surge in inflation. So what we're seeing here is a kind of economic paradox, a situation where the gains of reduced input costs are not being passed on to consumers. Instead, they're contributing to the inflated profit margins of these grocery retailers. Closing. The economic shifts post-pandemic are clearly mirrored in these retail markups. It's a complex picture, one that we'll continue to monitor as we navigate this ever-evolving economic landscape. President Biden's recent remarks are a testament to his ongoing commitment to combat corporate exploitation. He's been vocal about the instances of price gouging, where businesses inflate the prices of goods, services, or commodities to a level much higher than is considered reasonable or fair. This is particularly concerning when it comes to essential goods like food and medicine, where such practices can significantly impact the everyday lives of ordinary people. Yet price gouging is just one aspect of corporate exploitation that the president is keen to address. There's also the imposition of junk fees, those charges that are tacked onto a bill without any clear justification or explanation. These fees, often hidden in the fine print, can quickly add up and create a significant financial burden for consumers, especially those on tight budgets. Another phenomenon that Biden has been highlighting is what's known as greedflation and shrinkflation. Greedflation refers to the practice of companies increasing their prices not because of rising costs, but simply to boost their profits. Shrinkflation, on the other hand, is when companies reduce the size or quantity of their products while keeping the price the same, effectively making consumers pay more for less. To tackle these issues, the president has been actively advocating for measures across various sectors. He's been pressing drug makers to lower insulin costs, a life-saving medication that has become prohibitively expensive for many. He's been urging hotel chains to reduce their fees, helping to make travel more affordable. And he's been implementing strategies to diversify the meatpacking industry, which has seen a sharp rise in beef prices in the aftermath of the pandemic. These endeavors show that Biden's commitment to combat corporate exploitation isn't just about words, it's about action. It's about making sure that companies are held accountable for their pricing practices and that consumers aren't left footing the bill. As we can see, the Biden administration is unwavering in its commitment to ensuring fair pricing for consumers. The fight against corporate exploitation continues, and with it, the pursuit of a fairer, more equitable economy for us all.